Good morning, my friends. Welcome to this episode of Happiness After Codependency. Today we're going to do another episode of the Boundaries series. Today we're going to be talking about how we stay in our lane by respecting the differences of other people's experiences and reality. This allows us to acknowledge what's real for us and for them, and to create understanding rather than judgment about something being right or wrong necessarily. Now, obviously, there are right and wrong things in the world, but generally we can approach things from more of a middle ground to understand where a person's coming from and connect with them in that experience. So that's what we'll be talking about today. Before we get to that, if you're new to me, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. I help codependents rediscover their well-being and their happiness after narcissistic abuse by helping them come to know, love, and live who they are. Now, also, if you're new to me, there is the community. The community is your safe haven here on the internet where you can find tools, guidance, and support in your journey beyond codependency. The link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube, and if you're on the podcast, just go to www.freetheself.com and join the community there, or check out the description in your podcast app. So I'm going to get this shared out here real quick to it. Clicky buttons. Let me know how you're doing below in the comments. I'm going to click on the thingy here, and things are happening, and voila. There we are. So again, good morning. It's nice to see you all here. I've got a little volume alert going on, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. There we go. All right. So, boundaries number 5, staying in your lane and respecting differences of experience and reality of others. So a lot of times, frequently, we encounter other people who've had very different experiences about similar things in our respective lives. We think that, well, it's not that we think that, it's that they have, perhaps they have a particular kind of relationship experience that's foreign to you, or yours is foreign to them. The commonalities, you both had a relationship experience. A lot of times, just in human nature, not just in codependency, we come from a right-wrong perspective. We come from, well, mine is the right way and theirs is incorrect. Or we need to change the way we view something in order to understand it. Or in order for me to feel more comfortable with your point of view about your experience. This is one of the big challenges we have in coming to really understand each other, is to realize that one's experience, that individual's experience, yours, may be different, but that doesn't invalidate them. That doesn't create a right-wrong. What that does is it creates a dynamic understanding of a fuller view or more complete view of reality. This is especially important when we're interacting with people who have trauma backgrounds. They've come through traumatic experiences. So in my own experience, like my experience with narcissism, codependency, with abuse, most of my abuse was emotional, psychological attacks. I would put it in the middle spectrum of intensity or extremity, like the extreme nature of it. Whereas I have students and clients who went through things that were demonstrably different from my own experience, and in some ways more severe than my own. And my respect of their experience and what they went through has allowed me to better understand the whole spectrum of abuse, the whole spectrum of narcissism and codependency, and be more capable in connecting with individuals at their level in their space. If we're going to build intimacy in our world, if we're going to repair the big divisions we have, if we're going to actually be able to understand and build cooperation, love, support, and empathy in our relationships, we'll have to be willing to acknowledge that their reality is valid, even if we don't understand it, even if we don't agree with their take on it, because it's none of our business fundamentally. It's none of our business about how they interpret their reality. Our business is understanding it and then making a decision as to how we're going to interact with it. So this keeps us in our lane. It keeps us in our yard. It allows us to be secure in that, hey, okay, this was my experience, that was theirs. Now I can make some decisions about how I want to show up there and what I can offer, what I want to offer in that particular situation. This is an act of compassion, an act of empathy. It's an act of maturity. Because now it's not about, your perspective on this is wrong. We need to change it to something else because we assume that our perspective is the right one. It's more like, okay, I can see where your perspective's coming from. Or if I can't, I can ask questions and get a deeper understanding of you as a human being and your experience. This helps me stay out of my assumptions that I know the experience entirely and the conclusions that I derive from those assumptions. This is what it means to stay in our lane. This is what it means to respect the differences of reality and experience we all have. This way we can see and value each other because your experience, my experience, person A's experience, they're all valid, they're all real because they're lived. They're alive in each of us. When we come to a desire to understand that and to really connect with it as best we can, we build real support, real intimacy in this experience that allows us to experience feeling seen and valued and loved in our world. The smoke. So, in this work of coming to understand the validity and legitimacy of our own experience, it involves also acknowledging the legitimacy and veracity of the other individual's experiences too. This can often help us navigate triggered or activated states because sometimes another person's experience and their take on their experience can really touch buttons and sensitive spaces within us. This gives us a chance to slow down and go, what if both are real? What if both matter? Then I can take this in a very earnest way and go, wow, yeah, I see that that's your experience. And I can honor mine as well. It doesn't have to be mine's right, yours is wrong. It's more like we have a diversity of options here that we can work to understand and connect to and validate and respect. There's a lot of... my experience in this kind of approach is that I gain a lot more connection with people. I gain a lot more understanding of their individuality and their reality, and it enhances my own understanding of myself, and they get the same benefit many times by understanding mine. So this is an advanced approach to understanding differences with each other and leaving the land of right and wrong and moving into a land of understanding so that we can comprehend each other and then make decisions about how we're going to interact with each other going forward in our world. It's an essential boundary that keeps us in our yard, in our lane, and stops us from defining the realities of others. And it allows us to stop others from defining our reality. Instead, we can move towards understanding our individual realities, connecting to them, and then respecting them. So that's today's short little training. Let me know what you got out of this in the comments below. Remember that you're worth knowing, loving, and keeping. Go gently with yourself. Believe your experience because it's real, and I believe you. I will see you guys in our next episode. Have a great day.